Hey Pierre, have you heard anything about the Libby trial?
That the jury is very deliberate. Suggests they're going through some careful reasoning because they're asking for more paper, chalkboard, stickums. They've asked for pictures of the witnesses so that they can identify them and agree to who's speaking and what they're saying, which suggests a lot of very careful deliberation. And to the degree that's present, looks like they may come to, I think, a decision of guilt of Scooter Libby. Of course, someone may hang it up, or a couple, but it looks like they're doing something very rational.
What do you think would happen if he is in fact found guilty?
It's in place to file charges against the Vice President of the United States for breaking a law, the law being that you cannot out, as they call it, or disclose the identity of a CIA agent. And the evidence so far, from what I've heard, is very scant, very just reports, and they're going to need something more than what they have to bring an indictment. Therefore, the way in which Fitzgerald is most likely to proceed if he gets a guilt is to demand from the judge maximum penalty. Once you get maximum penalty, then you can turn to Scooter Libby and say, do you want 30 years in jail, or do you want to tell us whether or not you're willing to turn state's evidence against the Vice President of the United States, Karl Grove, and possibly the President of the United States? That's equivalent to impeachment. The issue has nothing to do with the possible impeachment of the President. That's minor.
Why is that?
Because if he is found guilty, that will mean there is sufficient evidence to conclude that Bush and his group artificially created false intelligence, crafted an illegal war, and the reason they went in, according to their claim, was that they were after the terrorists. The implication really is, if they lied about that, then they didn't have any justification. 9/11 didn't give them any justification, and therefore it will open up the most interesting question of the 21st century. And you know what? It'll take place in a day or two, because the Fitzgerald trial will end. And the first hole in the dike, and you're going to have more than a thumb to block it, to fix it, is going to engulf the whole country. And the corporate heads, and WTO, and international banking. It's wonderful. Living in the most creative, wonderful times in history. You're going to watch something tragic, really tragic. You're going to see the roots of it. It's going to be exposed, and that's what's at stake. So the stakes are high. This is high poker.
Do you think they could get away with just pardoning Libby? And I mean, if he's convicted, Bush could just pardon him and keep their mouth shut.
All we need to do is to see what will be the implications of a heavy. See, it takes time for him to be pardoned. He would have to be judged guilty. He would have to face a long-term sentence. And therefore, if he pardons him, there are going to be implications of that too. Since he said, Bush, did he not say, that if he discovers anyone in his administration that was responsible for it, he would fire him, he would get rid of him.
Damn it, that's the first time he's lied.
That's right.
Well, I think that they'll just try and stonewall their way out of it. And the media is like so complicit, they don't pursue, they don't ask the follow-up questions, so.
I think you're right. That's the issue. The issue will be, though, are some lies getting so clearly in terms of the evidence piled on top of one upon the other, that people will give up and they'll say, hey, we want to clean it, we will demand a change. I think this will bring down the whole fall of the Republican Party. It'll all be over by 2008. Because even if he pardons him, the implications, the impact is going to be the destruction of the Republican Party. And there's some very good people in it. And there's some terrible ones. but the whole thing is going to go.